Welcome to A Guide to Every Deck in EDH. Today we're looking at Kitsa Otterball Elite. So Kitsa, aside from Rona, Herald of Invasion, is probably the best looter ever made. This is a 2-mana 1/3 with Vigilance and Prowess, tap, draw, and then discard. And most importantly, 2-mana tap, copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets for the copy, activate only if Kitsa's power is 3 or greater. So a few things to note about this. First of all, there is no mana value restriction on the spell that you can copy. So any spell, regardless of how expensive it is, as long as you've got an additional 2 mana lying around, you can copy it, which is going to come in very handy for cards like Treasure Cruise, of course. Secondly, you need to have cast at least one spell before you can copy anything. So you cast spell number 1, Kitsa triggers on the Prowess, it becomes 2 power. Then the second spell you cast triggers Prowess again, you allow the Prowess to resolve, Kitsa now has 3 power, and now you can activate the final ability and copy that spell. So naturally, there's lots of different ways that you could take this. The most obvious one is probably extra turn spells, but we're not going to be doing that here today. The main thing is that Kitsa is essentially the Dramatic Scepter combo, but as part of the command zone. So what is the Dramatic Scepter combo? So Dramatic Scepter is the portmanteau of Dramatic Reversal and Isochron Scepter. So basically Isochron Scepter, you imprint Dramatic Reversal on it, and then for 2 mana you can tap and copy the Dramatic Reversal, which untaps all your non-land permanents. So this of course counts the Isochron Scepter itself and all of your mana rocks. So as long as you have mana producing permanents that are not lands that can produce at least 3 mana, you can activate Isochron Scepter, copying the imprinted Dramatic Reversal. It will untap all of your mana rocks and Isochron Scepter, netting you at least 1 mana, and then you can do that over and over to generate infinite mana. Now, Kitsa basically does the same thing, but in the command zone. So instead of Isochron Scepter, you get to use Kitsa. So as long as you've got 4 mana to start with, and 3 of that mana is mana rock generated, you can cast Dramatic Reversal, and then before the Dramatic Reversal resolves, you can activate the Kitsa to copy the Dramatic Reversal and create infinite mana. Now, of course, infinite mana alone does not win you the game. Kitsa itself does not have a way for you to actually spend that infinite mana to win the game. So it is a 3-card combo. You need something else to dump all the mana into, but having Kitsa in the command zone means that that 3 cards is really only 2 cards since you always have access to Kitsa. So aside from all of that, what are we doing? Well, we've got a bunch of cantrips that we can copy off of Kitsa. So Brainstorm, Ponder, Preordain, obviously. Gitaxian Probe, which in this case is basically 0 draw or 2 draw because Kitsa can copy it. Frantic Search becomes mana positive when you copy it with Kitsa because you'll be generating 1 more land untapped than it costs you to actually cast and activate. Obviously, Treasure Cruise is a fantastic thing to copy with Kitsa. We also have the usual suspects for draw spells like the One Ring, Rhystic Study, Mystic Remora. Archmage Emeritus is going to be in this deck because we're going to be playing a ton of spells. Then we've got our combo pieces. So we've got Power Artifact plus Grim Monolith as another way to generate infinite mana. Hullbreaker Horror or Tidespout Tyrant in combination with any number of cards that can be bounced and replayed, adding more mana than they generate. So for example, if you have, let's say, Sol Ring Mana Crypt and Hullbreaker Horror or Tidespout Tyrant, you can cast one, bouncing the other, tap the Sol Ring, cast the Mana Crypt, bounce the Sol Ring, tap the Mana Crypt, cast the Sol Ring. You'll generate infinite mana that way. And then Staff of Domination as our primary outlet. So once we have infinite mana, we can slap down Staff of Domination and we can draw our entire deck. Also notably, even if we don't have infinite mana, as long as we have enough of it, Staff of Domination can untap Kitsa, so if we've got enough extra mana lying around, we can potentially copy something another time. Now you may notice in the combo section a distinct lack of Thassa's Oracle, and that's because we don't actually need Thassa's Oracle. We can win in other ways, either by assembling so many superior resources that our opponents can never interact with us, or since Tidespout Tyrant is one of our combo pieces anyway, we can just keep casting spells and bounce all of our opponent's permanents, including their lands, which will usually mean they're not really able to interact with us anymore. So the usual route to victory is going to be assembling an infinite mana combo. It could be Kitsa plus Dramatic Reversal, it could be Dramatic Scepter, however we're going to assemble it, assembling that infinite mana, and then drawing, hopefully with Staff of Domination to draw our whole deck, but even if we don't have that, we can potentially draw a ton of other cards, slap down Tidespout Tyrant, bounce all of our opponent's permanents, including all of their lands, and essentially lock up the game. Bunch of counter spells, obviously, which we can also copy on the stack with Kitsa if we get into a counter war. Muddle the Mixture is also particularly useful here as it's a way to search for multiple different combo pieces, especially Dramatic Reversal. We've got our fast mana, so we can get Kitsa out as quickly as we can, along with Lava Spur Boots and Lightning Greaves as ways of both protecting Kitsa and allowing us to tap Kitsa immediately. Pretty straightforward lands. Usual qualifiers apply. Minamo can untap the One Ring or Kitsa. Inventor's Fair can go grab some of our artifact combo pieces, you know, whatever we need to do here. Bunch of ramp spells, including things that untap artifacts, so we can untap the ring, or untap cards like Mana Vault and Grim Monolith. Bunch of removal or bounce spells, so we've got things like Pongify, Snap Submerge, Gilded Drake, Volatile Storm Drake, Geist Wave. The Tabernacle at Pendrell Vale, we run very few creatures, and even though obviously we want Kitsa in play, it's not that big of an ask to pay 1 extra for Kitsa, whereas this is much more taxing on our opponents. Also, Torpor Orb to shut off ETBs. Obviously, we do have some ETBs, Gilded Drake and Volatile Storm Drake, but these don't matter that much, and it's, again, much more detrimental for our opponents than it is for us. A ton of tutors. It's obviously very important that we tutor for Dramatic Reversal or any of our other combo pieces, so most of this is geared towards getting that, but obviously we can also go grab artifacts. And we've got Expedition Map to go grab land, since we do have a number of lands that are pretty good as well. And that is pretty much going to do it. So with that said, that is Kitsa Otterball Elite for EDH.